All right. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry about that. I had coffee was being made. I was like, oh God. So I had to go down and get coffee. You guys understand how important coffee is. Make you stream, elements, giveaways. Oh, gotta do the login again. Sounds good, thank you. Copy. There we go. Yeah, I was kind of like, hold on. I was like, oh my God, I'm late. Like, but I need coffee. All right. It's one of those mornings. One of those mornings. But yeah, I was like, oh God, I gotta have my coffee. So yeah, so the new thing is Melissa's like, all right, let's all sleep because we have the big bed. And she's been sleeping in like the guest bed with Kip, so like we don't interrupt Jen. But now her thing is like, let's all just, sleep in the same bed. I'm like, oh. So it was like such a pain. It was like um we had the dog, both kids. I was like, man, there's no room. I'm like, I'm gonna go sleep on the floor. So I didn't sleep on the floor, but definitely tired. Way too many moving bodies. This morning, pretty interesting news thus far. Things are starting to pick up a little bit here. Seeing some CAD strength come back into the market. You know, not so much CAD strength, but just dollar weakness across the board. Yesterday's world peace with Russia wasn't actually there. I told Todd, I'm like, this is like the same thing that we saw with the Paris Accords, right? Like the United States was like, no, this will disadvantage us. We're leaving. China's like, no, we'll sign, but then did absolutely nothing. Like it was proven that they didn't do anything, that the pollution was getting worse. So it was kind of like a false signature. Yesterday is turning out to be the same thing. They're like, oh, we're going to pull troops away. And thus far, I mean, actually 15 minutes ago, where is it? Right here. Right now it's 44 minutes ago. They said we've seen no evidence of a pullback. We've seen nothing but more troops going towards the border. The exact opposite. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, you know, it's a lot of like I don't even know what the correct word is for it, but Russia's like pissed off at the UK, right? Where is it down here? He's like, hey, listen, we're gonna retaliate, right? You put sanctions on, we're gonna do sanctions worse, and it's like, yeah, whatever, right? Um, I I give more credit to the UK. Good for them, right? Um, again, anything that affects the European, the European, peninsula or not peninsula, but that region obviously affects the UK as well. So good for them. It's great to see them getting out there and imposing their will as well. So I think it's the right thing to do. If it's NATO that they have a problem with, fine, then we'll just create a unilateral security agreement, or a mutual security agreement. That's how NATO was originally formed, right? Right. So good for them. Good for them wanting to not be part. Um, and it's kind of the same thing, right? If you're a Ukrainian citizen, right, and you really want to be back with Mother Russia, then go, right? If you don't want, to be a democratic, and want independence. I mean, you know, most of those countries have, they want to have, voting and things like that. They want to be part of Mother Russia so bad, then go back. Mother Russia would love to have you. They lost lots of population. They'll take everybody they can get. Then we had CPI again for CAD. Kind of blew it out, right? Now most of the dollar CAD movement is more kind of dollar weakness. There's a little bit of CAD strength in there as well, but it's kind of a combination of both. Great numbers. I'm hoping that we see some type of CAD data soon, or CAD. What was I gonna say? What's it called? We should see some type of news sometime soon. Um, from CAD about when they're going to start raising interest rates. So I think that'll be pretty decent, give us some more trading opportunity. It was interesting yesterday. I closed it down. I meant to read it. Meant to read it yesterday, but talking about how the volatility in the currency market's really been flat for the last 3 years. But this year, it's bound to be to pick up, and there'll be a lot more opportunity. So um, definitely think it's awesome. I think it's great. Now, retail sales in the U.S. blew it out. Now, again, the big number that's there, it looks absolutely gigantic, but there was an adjustment last time. It was a little bit more of like I said, would it still been a forecast of one, even though we adjusted down previously? Yeah, probably. So you would expect a 1.5. So I would say instead of 3 times, it's probably double what the true expectation was going to be. It's in line. Industrial production came in again. Great. We're producing stuff, right? We know that we are the cost of producing things is more expensive, But it's great that we are producing things, right? So you're seeing that industrial production move in the right direction. Um, then we have crude oil coming in at 10:30. Now, API is pretty interesting. Again, we'll cover this in the oil section. But the API number had a lower forecast, like a lower down draw number, a 1.7 versus a 2, and it came in as just a -1. So a little bit of a miss, right? And again, that should have had the opposite effect. But again, remember, this report doesn't necessarily generate everything. But over here, it's a -2.1, so, or minus a 2.2. So I think you know, it's shaping up to be an interesting kind of release today. But I do think, in the grand scheme of things, I do think all eyes are really just going to be focused on the FOMC notes today. Reason why is, not that there's a raise chance or anything like that today, but the words, right? I mean, retail sales just knocked it out of the park. Earnings, for the most part, were good across the board. Inflation broadening is the correct term we got for it. But what does that actually mean? Well, I mean, we're seeing it expand into other areas besides just energy. And we know where the energy system came from. So, it's getting worse, right? And nothing has been done yet. Um, and it's so funny, I gotta say. Like, so I've been saying the point five since October, right? Ever since Jamie Dimon made that comment, I was like, "Yep, it's gonna be a half." Right. And Todd's like, no, 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 they don't like the shock or anything. And now he's like, no, no, everybody's, it's factored in, the point five. Um, it's one of those things like Bullard making those comments about wanting more and more and more. Um, I think, I think at a minimum, we definitely get the 50. At this point, I'm wondering if we get a 50-50. 50 at the first, 50 at the second, because we have to do something to halt it. I mean, we know that a 50 in the UK is not working. They did a 25-25, and it's continuing to grow, right? Our data looks a heck of a lot better than the UK data's does. So it's kind of, it's kind of like that, that meme. There's the guy that's like, change my mind, the change my mind meme. It's kind of the same thing. It's, what excuses is there to not, you know? I mean, the Ukraine is about the last one, and you're kind of reaching for that one, right? I mean, how much do we buy and sell from the Ukraine, and what does it really, how does it really affect our economy, right? Like, is Apple selling billions of iPhones over there? I don't think so. Um, it doesn't really affect us too much. Um, but inflation does. Inflation absolutely does. Seeing retail sales blow it out. Employment, great. I mean, we're seeing unemployment numbers come in at like 200,000. So they got nothing. So I think today there could be some fireworks. It'd be very odd. I don't know. All I gotta say is if they don't get Bernard starting to like use her voice, they're gonna be like, oh, Pal's gone. Okay, we're unhappy with what Pal did, and she was a continuality to him. Okay, great, she's gone too. It's gonna be a clean sweep there. And then tonight, happy about the Australian data. I'm looking forward to this one. Employment change is expected to come in at 0. I doubt that it comes in at 0. I'm sure we'll have some number in there. And then their unemployment rate. Australia's they've had a mixed situation. They had some lockdowns. I know a bunch of people over there. They're like, yeah, everybody's got COVID. I was like, oh, we went through that too. Don't worry, everybody will be fine. And they're coming out of it now. So I think that data should be okay. But I think because of the time proximity to the FOMC notes, I think if we get any type of spike in FOMC, it gives us a great opportunity for a reversal later on at night. And you may say, well, what is that? How's it going to move? Well, I don't know what it's going to do, right? I don't have the crystal ball. But I will say, based off of what they say at FOMC, we could have massive amounts of dollar strength. We could have a lot of gold movement, right? If they're very, very passive, saying, yeah, it looks like it's a 0.25, we don't want to, shock the economy too much. That would be huge for gold, right? Because that means the situation is going to get to continue. That should give the Aussie a whole lot of strength, which could set us up for an Aussie weakness trade tonight. So a couple different factors involved, but I think that's going to be some cool opportunity. Besides that, let me see. Is there any other headlines? Let's see what else popped up. Doesn't appear so. Dispute, KC Feds, FinTech. Okay. No evidence. We just saw that one. Retail surge. Prediction ahead of retail sales data. Gotcha. Nah, doesn't look like anything else besides that. So, yeah. Now, going into tomorrow morning, before we get to speak, we do have the Philly Fed. Remember, Empire State has been crappy. Philly was good, right? Last time it was supposed to get blasted, right? Supposed to be good, but it was really, really good, right? This time it's supposed to go down a little bit. We'll see if it follows. And then unemployment claims. I mean, come on, the projection is 217. So, and then G20 meetings, right? G20 meetings. I don't expect a lot of headlines tomorrow for G20. I expect that more for Friday. But and then again, that's it. So, you know, I'd say the biggest thing is FOMC, and that's going to dictate what happens in the next 2 days. All right. So let's go across and let's start looking at this. So mention this with Todd's group, so I'll just kind of rehash it for you guys as well. Here's the channel I extended across for the Nitick session, but again, you can see we have the touches at the top. I mean, I could use, this top here, look, this top, this top. This one's off by a little bit. We can kind of do it there, right? Touch, 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 and kind of slice through it. We're starting to get up to that zone now. Bottom, same thing. Touch, touch, touch. Three. Again, very, very simple channel draw. I'd like to see what happens here. So we have sellers. We know they've been in here before. Again, it fought back. It was a lower high. We're driving up right now in this 9:30 window with the open. See what we can do with it, right? I think right now, if we can hold and maintain, we're looking to get short before FOMC because that'll be dollar strength coming in. And I'm kind of looking, you may say, what the heck is this? If we get a big spike, now again, if we're up here, we spike. If we're over in here, we get a spike. I'm looking for an area. Again, I'm looking for a spike and kind of push down until the Australian data tonight. And then I'm kind of looking for an ability to go long. So I kind of want to go, you know, strong into the number and then play the retracement is what I'm looking for. So, I don't know if it's going to go down. Maybe it'll go up with FOMC, right? Maybe it'll be so weak, like, yeah, it's going to be too, we see factors that could be bad, right? If it goes up, I'm looking for the reversal. So I'm looking for a spike in either the two directions, but I do like a spike into either of these two down below. If we can spike into 7109, I think that's a decent level. It's okay. I'd be willing to take that in a spike, or preferably if we can get down to the 7096 before tonight. And again, that FOMC number comes in right there, right? Let's change that to a 2, right? So there's our FOMC number. So looking for something, looking for a spike here, and then looking for the reversal tonight is kind of how this one's playing out. Aussie yen, kind of the same thing. You can see we went from the upper level here, right? We dropped down, we grabbed this lower level. And again, both of these were levels that we had drawn from yesterday. A lot of basing in this range right here, at the 82.62 range. I think it's the same kind of setup. I don't expect as much of a spike in the Aussie yen as I would the Aussie dollar. But I do think there is going to be some movement from FOMC with this one today, particularly because, again, it's kind of a strange one, right? Strange in the sense that it's a proxy and a proxy, right? We have the gold proxy and we have the stock market proxy inside of this one. So a lot of factors in there. But I like it for the reversal tonight because I like removing the dollar a bit from it. So I want the spike. This one, I mean, I love this. I love this. But I also, I don't know if we're going to get that much yen strength. I feel like we could get yen strength from it. So I feel like I'm hoping that we kind of, let's see. FOMC number is right here. Kind of hoping we're flirting with this level. I'd love to get this, right? I would love to get that. And I think that would be a great opportunity for us to kind of take this and, basically from here up. What just went off? Oh, ES is crossing that number again. We'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, kind of what my thinking is. I want this to drive down. I'd like to get long before the number. But I would like to see a spike. Make it easier for us. Just make it easy. Euro pound. So Euro pound pulling back. Now we were looking for Euro pound to get short, right? We mentioned there's a level here, and I think this is actually, was that the 50? Oh no, the 50 is a little bit higher up. So it was a zone. We mentioned yesterday that it was going to be an issue. Not necessarily an issue, but it was an area where sellers were. This is a 1030 reversal, pulled up, literally pulled all the way back down again, came back and touched it again. So it's hit 3 times. I wouldn't take much of a short off of it now, but it was a draw from yesterday. It sucks when it moves this far in the other direction. I think on this, still, again, we have an alert set. Keep this 84.11 up there. It's a level, right? When it gets there, it gets there. But I think at this point, wait for price to come all the way back down to 83.52. And it's funny. The UK makes those statements, sanctions, and it's getting all this European strength. Or I'm sorry, the pound strength, right? The UK is getting sanctions, but it's strengthening. Again, a lot of this is the European weakness also, okay? But yeah, we're still waiting for those to go off. But if you guys caught that one yesterday, you're out. Euro yen. So Euro yen, it had a reversal at about 3 o'clock this morning. It is not really in the best of areas. Not much you can do with it. Again, it's a decent candle. I like the way that the candle formed, right? It gave us a little bit of a retest. Now, again, European session open, pullback, reversal at 6:30, drop down again. It is kind of in a level where if you say, "Hey, listen, there's been a lot of buying here, right? Buyers, buyers, buyers. Ooh, we're sitting there now. Is there enough room to take this all the way down?" And there's about 50 pips in there. I don't know. This one's going to be a little bit. Fortunately, I like to have this one kind of. I like to figure out where the base is, but 1 to 3 is sitting right there. It's a little bit deep, a little bit deep for that target, but it's still 50 something points. So if we can get a little, let's see. Let me see if I can refine this enough. Kind of there, but there's still a little bit left. Let's see. It's a 3.8. There's your 1 to 3 now. That's better. That's better, but whoops, not that one. That's kind of where I would expect sellers or buyers to step in. So it's a little bit tight in that one for that euro yen. Uh, like to see it. Problem with this too is this. Look, there's a decent level of basing right in there, right? There's a decent level of basing right in there. Now there's a wick going down, right? There's a wick going down into this wick over wick. So kind of like to see if we can get a little bit of a base for the next hour, 2 hours, and then we pull down. I may adjust this higher, but I do think that there's a little Harry Potter trade down here. I do like taking advantage of this racetrack, bringing it back down, and I do think the overall targets to the downside should be at approximately 130.56. So yeah, it's down there. Yeah, I mean it's there. Yeah. I wish we didn't have the wick the way that it was here. I'd say, hey, listen, this is any type of pullback to this level, get short. But I kind of hope that this in 6 minutes. I hope this one stays green. If it does, then we get a push down. Then we have a new level. Then we have a new kind of level here, right? That'll give us a level of basing to kind of push down and pull back to, and then we'll adjust this higher. So there's a trade set up in this one. How many minutes we got? Got 5 minutes, and it looks like it's rallying up a little bit. So that looks good so far, right? It ran into the same buyers. Look, touch, touch, touch. That would be good if we pull lower. We're gonna adjust this up. We may actually, it may actually be, we may actually pull it here. Again, it's 11 pips. It's a little bit better, which is great because that gives us a lot more room. So this one is unfolding. It's something we got to watch. Easy way to do this one too. If you want, we can just throw horizontal line in there. We'll throw it down in here a little bit. We're gonna put it right there. Let's see. We'll call this Euro JPY Harry Potter short. Check for setup. Okay. All right. So that way we'll get alerted. All right. So dollar. Euro dollar. We were looking for this one to come out. We had an alert set up here right around the 50. It didn't even make it to the 50. It missed it by 52, like 6 pips. So it got really, really close. It got really, really close and then turned and rolled back down on us. European session basically went straight down, and this was the kind of the new UK threat. I think keep it on there. Again, alert set. There's not much more else we can do with it. Ended up going past the profit target here. So let's remove these. Let's adjust some of these things. Let's pull this down. What actually did go off the 50 with the lower one, which is fine. Now we're at the 61.8 for the top. So yeah, I would say we're fine on this one. Let's see where a potential pullback would be to. Nah, it's nothing. It's in no man's land. It's right in here. So we're not concerned about that one. Yeah. So it looks like this one tagged to 50. It kind of pushed through. Didn't give us a great risk level. I guess you could have actually, had done this from there. Nice little confirmation entry off of it. And again, U.S. session rotated it around. You could have probably grabbed something off of that confirmation off of 50. Again, I like I like the candle formation. So, but yeah, so that one's set. I'm still holding the 114.05. I think that one is a decent level. I like the way that it was tested. And again, all it did was move from the 50 to the 61.8. I think that's great. When this one fails, when it punches through, that'll be the next stop. The next sell on that one. I am going to mark this area off here too. I do like how these candles formed at the bottom. And again, that's a full extension down there. If you look at it, the ascending wicks on there and the way that it kind of rode the top and took off, I think that's pretty decent. Right. I think that is pretty decent. So not bad. Some hot coffee. Um, yeah, so there's our tops and bottoms, 1405, 112.94. If you called a short in here, that was a good, you had to be up it for the London Open for that one. I was, but not trading. um, but yeah, that was 630 reversal on that one. So not a bad little pull. Let's check on pound yen. So, I will say I like that candle right there. That is a 4 a.m. candle. I do like how that was tested. We're going to mark that one off. And again, it coincides with the 61.8. So we'll save that one for later. That could be a decent level. Love the ascending wicks. Love the candle formation. Love its response to it. I think all those are great things. We probably are going to have an issue with this, though. Right there is probably going to be more of a buy. It is sitting. It, it's the old 23 pullback. So it doesn't really pertain to us as much. Let's see if it hits on anything. Yeah, it's kind of hitting on a 61.8 here. So I'd watch this level. It's a decent pop at the European Open. This would be more of a target. If you're short right now, I would say that this is our short target down below. It can be a potential buy area, but you need a little confirmation bounce off of it right now. We're kind of smack in the middle. Is another one of those new form level at the Open. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I may. That one may be worth one more hit off of it. Just by the way that it formed, how the sellers kept stepping in, stepping in, stepping in, stepping in. It based and tried to find more buyers and then collapsed and came up and collapsed again. There may be one more short off of that one. Let me see. 1 to 3 is right there. It's actually not in a bad spot. Not in a bad spot at all. So yeah, that one could be. Let's extend this across just so we can kind of see it. Much time we got? 4 hours. How many pips is this? It's 25. Hmm. 17. Hmm. Shrink this window. I was hoping it would be bigger than that. That's fine. Precision. I don't know about that. I wanted to make it thicker, but I guess I can. With 17, it looks like we'd be able to move up, and 34 would put us above. So, trying to figure out. So, my quandary on this one is: do we take this one short? Because again, it will have. I do think we will get some yen strength out of the FOMC note on this one. So it's kind of like it's a proxy play on it, though. You know what? Let's throw something on there. I want to be alerted on that one. I want to see what time that one hits. That may be a potential. Um, oops. Potential short. Watch time. Oh, FOMC. This is a 61.8 short. All right. So We're gonna put that on again. Like I said, I want to see how much it moves. I want to see what this level is able to do. I'm going to see its close, its time proximity to the FOMC notes. I do think we're going to get some yen strength out of that, so that perfectly plays into what we're seeing on this chart to the downside. So could be a decent little setup. Um, this guy, we ended up using it, so it didn't make it to its full profit target. It made it about 2/3 of the way through. Actually, let's see, it made it to a 2.5. We made it to 1 to 2.5 on this setup, and then it reversed on us. So it got pretty close. Again, would have been a stop out of break even, worst case scenario. So we'll take it off right now. We don't need it anymore. And let's look at the next line up. And it looks like we got, I don't love this area because it's been, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles there, but it is kind of nestled in. I do like the movement out of it, and again, it kind of coincides with what we're seeing with the pound yen. So, I'd say this one is a decent setup too. Nice racetrack. We should be able to get all the way back up there. I'd say this is a decent short position for later today. Right? Make sure we set our 1 to 3 on it. Right now it looks great. We don't know what the basing and the pullbacks look like, but again, it's tucked under the 78.6. But again, easy to see base, strong push, easy to see base, and then explosive push to the downside. There's got to be some sellers still sitting up there. So this one looks like it would be a short of, was it close? Is it that close? There you go, 136. Yeah, it's right at the 136 level. So and then profit targets back down to here. So yeah, that's kind of a small trade, just a small trade. So about a 10 for 30 on that one. So this is another one of those ones too. I like this one because I do think we get dollar strength out of FOMC. This one needs to move in the next 4 hours about 25 pips. Its ATR is about 12. So it absolutely, again, going through lunch, it has absolutely enough time to get up there and do that one. That would be a level as well that I'd be willing to take. And again, it's kind of a, potential news. New short. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna move it a little bit shy because I just want to make sure that we get the alert in time. Yeah. So see where that one is. But again, pound yen, pound dollar, more or less the same setup. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD driving back again. This one we still waiting for a break. We still have an alert over here, a break of 126.49. This one has just really been very, very sideways, right? Very, very sideways. Again, I'd like to see this one kind of bounce. It's already setting up for some type of a bounce with FOMC. Problem is, it's strong dollar versus strong CAD. We had great CAD news today, and we have oil rallying again. So it's, this is that analogy with the two Rams, right? The two Rams smacking in each other. Who's going to win? The question is, go for the weak prey. Don't go for the strong. This one is strong versus strong. So yeah, don't have much with dollar CAD. I'd be very cautious with dollar CAD today because anything bad Ukraine is going to make oil spike, which is going to make the dollar or CAD get stronger. Any mention of interest rate rising, again, that is also dollar strength. So, and the way it's setting up right now, I think we have dollar strength coming back in. I would expect this one today. I'd expect we come back up into this range. I think most people are. I think the market is like, yeah, 50% rate or 50-point raise, 0.50 raise. I think if the market, if they actually acknowledge it, I think that sends the market moving because that means it could potentially be even more. They're not going to say 50, we're prepared for 50, and then come in at 25. That almost never happens. So I think this one goes up higher today. Dollar Swiss, again, still in that same exact channel. Talking top to bottom here, 20 pips. So there's just not enough meat in this one. Look, this one has just been so flat. I'd avoid dollar Swiss right now. Dollar yen. So dollar yen came up and grabbed that level yesterday morning. Chart school yesterday was right here. We've had a little bit of a drop right now, and this is that yen strength that we were talking about, right? Yen strength / dollar weakness. I think this one is preparing to go, for a long piece. There is an area sitting right here, right? Let's see. We know that is the 61. So let's pull this back, 61. Let's do a draw from down up. Yeah, it's right around the 60 on that one. And in reality, actually, I should probably run it from there. Yeah, we just bounced off the 78. I'd say it's a decent level. I'm gonna put it here. See, this is one of the RAM thing, right? I think we can get dollar strength out of this one, but I also think we're gonna get yen strength. So kind of a weird one, right? Because it's like who wins? Dollar strong, yen strong. Who's gonna win this one, right? Not as easy as a play. Um, hmm, I think I'm waiting for this. Whoops, that'd be red. I really want to. I'd like to see a spike in either of these two directions. But we get something here. That would be a news long. So yeah, dollar yen, another one. Like I said, go after the euro dollar or pound dollar. Those two are going to be. I mean, again, euro dollar as weak as it is right now, right? The euro being kind of weak, or the euro being weaker than the pound. Absolutely, I would go euro dollar. I think that's the best play today as far as the cryptos or as far as the currencies go. You can see cryptos are not liking the FOMC down 2%. Like I said, it's at that level yesterday. We talked about breaking through. It's there. It's primed. It looks like it's set up. Bitcoin is set up for a big drop today, pushing all the way back down again. Ethereum ended up rolling again and hit that level, came up and formed a new top to roll. It's kind of in the same setup. It's got one little hiccup right here before it drops. Okay, so it is same type scenario. And then again, Doji is down 2.89, also in the same setup. So let's go across. It's 10:09. Let's see what oil is doing yet. Oil's not quite back up. I was hoping it would get a little bit higher. Continuing to rise today, right? Oil is continuing to move. We ended up going off that level. 61.8 didn't slow it down. 50 gave it a little bit of resistance. We know the 78.6 is up top. Right now, again, I talked about these buyers coming in here earlier. Right now, this thing doesn't even look like it is slowing down. Yeah, no, it's not slowing down. It's not even trying to stabilize right now. It's trying to find a zone. Um, it looks like there is a zone here. So that could be a potential. It could be for a potential short, but we need to stop and stabilize. So right now we don't have a slowdown. It's continuing to kind of do its thing. Yeah, it's not stopping yet. So we'll have to see. We got about 20 minutes before the release. We'll give this a little bit more time. Natural gas was up big in the overnight. At one point, we were up like 6.8%. It's finally pulling back a little. We don't need this. Let's go down to here. So you can see it was up about 6.8 and it ended up hitting that gap, ended up pulling back. Actually, the gap is there. It hit the gap and pulled back and then drove through. So the 450 got broken. Okay. At this point, I guess we'll take it from the bottom up. We'll see if we have anything that kind of makes sense. Yeah, there is something smaller on the 50 right now. It's going to be a little bit more dangerous, but it's going to use the 50 more than anything else. And it's got a racetrack. So yeah, that's a decent long right here. 1 to 3 is right there. So again, not a bad, not a horrible little position there, right? It was base. The last time it hit it, exploded out of it. It isn't a racetrack, so it should use this level here, right? It should use that one, and again, that's such a small risk. If you wanted to take a short, if we came to break through, you could play this in two directions. So here, we'll slide this over there, and there's probably also a short position set here for you natural gas crazies out there, right there, 1 to 3. So you can see the overlaps of that one. Oops. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I got it on there perfect, but nope. There we go. Two perfects. So yeah, that's a perfect profit target in both directions. So nice little natural gas setup. So gold. All right. So gold came back down. We never got an entry. We were looking for any type of confirmation entry on this one. Never got it. So we would have to adjust this one a little bit. You know, If we had to move it now, let's delete this off and see if we can get a decent level of basing. Probably here. Um, there's your probably your new. Let's see if we get enough room on this one. Problem with this guy right now is that it's already moving higher, right? So it looks like 1843 is what we're looking for. We're in a racetrack right now, and the question is, can love the zone up top, right? I mean, for news, if we can get this one ahead of time, that's where the zone actually is, right? That's the new kind of base. It got front run off the 1880. Can it move that much between now and FOMC? It's got 4 hours, but that's quite a bit of movement in a very short time frame. Um, it's kind of a lot. Kind of a lot. Let's see. Where's a maybe we have to maybe yeah. See, it's at the 50 right now, so it's going to be hitting some sellers. Um, hmm, man, there's a lot in that one. I guess the big question is what we do now in the next 30 minutes if we can break through. I like this one. I would like to get short before the news. Question is, do we form a base right now? We have the lower. If this stops here and starts to pull down again, that could give us a potential another area for 2 p.m. Right? This may give us a place that that buyers or sellers are establishing themselves. We got the 2 wicks that are heading straight down, but we got 15 more minutes to see if this candle can close to the downside and give us that kind of like top piece in there for news. I'd like to get short though for this one. I like strong dollar. I like weak gold. Because again, I think they mentioned inflation getting out of control, and again, the steps to crush inflation. So looking to get short. Again, FOMC is a big deal, but I like the 18. The 1818. I'm sorry, 1880 up top is decent. For news, we could potentially also take this one here. Where are we at? 14 is right there. Right. If we have news coming in, if God, it would be awesome if we could. If we could get up to 1875 before the news, also a decent short. And um, you know, this is one of those ones that there's going to be a lot of volatility stacked into a lot of things over at Nadex if you're trading it. This one may be one of those kind of like hidden ones that may, and I say may, right? It may not be as bad, but you have to see when it actually, you know, have to see when those contracts are printed. The contracts are not printed yet. Take it short. Um, silver. Silver is like blah. um, let's see. Are we? Yeah, it's what we're having issues with right now. Yeah. So you can say, here's your 50. It didn't even make it to the 23. Came back up again, blew through the top again. It's got kind of cleaner sailing. I think the 68, the 78.6, that's a decent drop off of that one. Silver is going to, again, silver is going to, it'll move today as well. Um, Silver may be an easier way to play it. Like I said, I don't know what the premium is going to look like and everything yet, but it could be. And with the silver trade could look like is something along those lines, right? Again, nice base, right? It was an impulse, a corrective move back. It based one candle and then exploded to the downside. It does coincide with the 78.6, so it is one of those levels that algorithms are going to pick up. Um, I don't think that the 50 holds. I don't think we turn here. It's already started to push higher. So we have clear sailing up. I still think, again, like to be short silver unless they're extremely dovish today. I do think we get down to 22.83. Again, this is one of those ones you can check ahead of time and see if it matches up. Um, you know, it's not one that I blindly just get into. I would like to see some type of a technical level that we could be at. All right. Let's go to the indices. Again, not surprised. Again, VIX is rising up. Dollar kind of doing its thing. These are all accelerating through. This is the alert that we had on from yesterday that we just broke. Looking for this one to come all the way down right now. Looking for this to come down to 43.94. Um, this one, again, the base is pretty easy. So we'll mark this one off. And again, you can see the alerts triggered. Oh, by the way, thank you, Will. Right. Thank you, Will, for bring it to my attention that you guys could see alerts, but you couldn't see anything in the channel. I believe that you can see them all now. So if that's not the case, please let me know. But yeah, this one's already short. Let's see, was there a setup at the open? Not really. The open would have been a base and a break of this, so yeah, not much on that. That was already kind of pre worked on. NQ is officially out. Here was your open. Again, we had that second one that came in. We were looking for this to complete. This one definitely was a little bit harder to trade. The Europeans sent this one up and it kind of reestablished itself. We were looking for a break, and again, we knew that it would push lower, and it did. It's actually out right now on a target. So again, the NQ one, that alert is triggered and out now, so we are done with the NQ alert. Let's remove this. Let's take this off. I think right now, I mean, this one, I think, again, we continue to push lower. I think we're shooting for a 14,265. There's a level there. I mean, there could be an argument made that, hey, listen, there's a level there and there's a decent push off of it. Is it something that I'm willing to step in front of for FOMC? Heck no. Heck no. It's a 15-minute level. And, it's a great target. So if you were short, that would be my target. But in reality, if you're short from this morning, which again, you absolutely should have been, again, make sure you get out. Don't get overly greedy. Close yourself out if you need to. YM is also now completed. We were waiting for the pullback. No entry. We got entry over here. No entry, no entry, no entry. We talked about reestablishing. Here was one opportunity, right? Here's your drop, your base, and your pullback. So this one is also out. That one would have triggered at 8:30, and then really the 9:45 candle would have hit. So either one of these two would have worked for you. You could have tagged either one, and again, you're out. Your 1 to 3 is sitting there, so you're well beyond. Even from the lower level, you know, you no matter which way you slice this one, you've been out. I think overall targets at the downside on this one today are also sitting down here. Again, if you're a short, I think you're good to take this one at least until FOMC time. You're sitting in a racetrack right now, so I think this one continues to go lower. Not much else to say about it, right? We were calling for it, short at the open, and again, short at the open has been good. Russell, kind of the same thing. Again, you can see it came down at base, that pulled back, grabbed that same level, and it is also on the works to the downside. Getting a little bit more sloppy down here. Again, broke through. Look, top, top, top. 1, 2, 3. Based on the bottom, pulled down, stopped here, pulled back up again, and now it is going lower. There'd be another one if we break through the 2039 level. I think overall targets today are back down on the 2016. Right now, this one is off only by 0.75, 0.7. So, it's not a gigantic, it's not an enormous mover, not yet. But I think you know, I think this one is going to be at risk the most. Right now, the weakest is NQ. I think the Russell is going to be the one that probably gets beat up the most. Um, but again, we talked earlier today, being short at the open, and it's still continuing to drive. So if you're short, I think you're good there. Let's go see with oil. If oil is stabilizing. Okay, there we go. There's something. Let's go down to a minute. Man, I wouldn't say that it's actually stabilizing yet. It is pulling back into a level. We still got about 10 minutes on this one, but it's not. This is not the stabilization that we're looking for. I'm looking for something like this where it just stops, right? It hasn't quite done that yet. Um, hasn't the thing hasn't popped up yet. Let me see. Is there any other headlines? Manufacturing trade. Eases on supply side constraints. Yeah. Wages tight. I'll have a tightest labor market for decades. Yeah, I know, right? uh, Kip's back. I can hear him grumbling. Yeah, I was looking for this. Maybe we can rise up in the next 9, but I'm not. This is just not. I mean, I guess it just pulled back, and there's a decent level right there that's been tested. It's all right. We'll see if it holds here. So again, remember the 35 and 1. So we're looking for on the 30-minute. We're looking for it to be close to any levels. The closest level we have is literally a wick over wick right up here. Right. That's the closest thing we got. There's nothing holding it back on a 30-minute. If we drop it down to like a 5-minute, again, we can refine that level a little bit, right? And again, we're taking more or less the whole thing. I mean, we could take, there, it kind of pinches the zone a little bit better. There is a small little wick over wick, it looks like right here. It's kind of like this wick behind the wall kind of looking thing. Maybe that's what we're going to have to use. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It just went off of on a 5-minute. Yeah, kind of like it to be higher. It's already started to pull back a bit. So Yeah, I mean, what does that zone look like over here? It's decent. It's okay. Mm, I really wish this would slow down a little bit. I feel more comfortable with it if it's slowing down. I mean, I like what it's doing now over the last 2 minutes. Problem. Okay, here's the issue with this one though. We do have very. I mean, again, this is a 1 minute chart. Very very small zone worth of buyers here. Right. I like this one better. Right. This one's okay. It's pulled back and you can see that it's supporting itself right now. But we also know it has a very, very limited run to the top side because again, sellers have stepped in there. We saw it on two different time frames. We know that we have sellers at 94.48. We also have sellers sitting here at 94.21. Again, they're confirmed, right? It's not crystal ball. It's not like how do you know? I saw, you can see it here, right? You can see it here, and we can see it here. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place right now. I kind of like it more for really more for a short than anything else, right? I mean, it's trying to establish, but it's not really. I don't know. I mean, you could take it off a 5 minute zone, and it's already moved a little bit. Um, I mean, your 5 minute zone is looking like this, right? Your 1 to 3 needs to go down to there, right? But again, we know we have some basing. We know how we have a confirmation. We have pushed it in twice. So, I mean, of the two, I like the 5 minute zone better than I like the one. We are holding in the one though, is the problem right now. So we got 6 minutes to go on this one. But I would say that it's more of an opportunity. And again, with this kind of rally up right here, I would say again, overall profit targets for me on this one would be sitting kind of down here. So, but I still think we get up to 95.50. So we got a couple of minutes. So go ahead. Let's go ahead and do the drawing early today, since we got a little bit of time. Hold on. Um, sorry. All right. Yeah, this one may move the full target before time. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the drawing. It is Wednesday, so we're going to do the drawing first, and then come back to oil and see what we got if it's not already done on that one. It is Wednesday, so it is a 50 chip day. Who was? Oh, it was Neuro. Neuro won on Monday, so Neuro's going for 100 again. Everybody else is going for 50. Who do we got in here? I got Neuro with 3, right? Carol's got her 1. Marina, Will, Debbie, Briggs, Ernest, and Eki. We need to call Ross. Well, it's Russell only comes at the end of the week, but we got to check on Ross, make sure he's doing all right. All right, so let's close it down. Winner of today's drawing is look at that, Ernest with 1. Wow, Ernest is like, you know what? I don't need 3 to beat you, Neuro. I'm just going to come in with this 1. So yesterday, it's funny. We talked about how Neuro was getting away a little bit from. He was like really just chasing him down, right? Chasing him down, and then Ernest comes in and says, "Yeah, you know what? I only need 1 ticket today. You wasted your 20. You wasted your 20, and there you go. Back over 4K, pulling away, trying to chase, get on Debbie's heels. So, yeah, doing a little chasing action there. Little chasing action. Let's see, is it gonna? There we go. I was like, why is it not popping up? Manufacturing trade. No other headlines. I love this one. I don't know. Do you guys see this one too? No evidence of a Russian pullback. They're just moving towards the border, not away. So, gotta love it. All right, so we're pulling back down. It's continuing to drop. This one may go to its full fruition before the news is even out. Ugh, it may go the whole way. Yeah, we'll see how this one turns. I mean, unfortunately, that's the best stabilization we had at 10:13. So a little bit early, little bit early. It used the 5 minute zone when it's already moving, and it's already at about 2 to 1. There's not a whole lot else in here. Uh, got 4 minutes on it though. 4 minutes. Let's see what else is moving. Dollar's continuing to drop. What is CAD doing? CAD's trying. I'm trying to see what the dollar is doing in prep for the news. Looks like dollar's getting weaker too. CAD strength is coming in a little bit. Cat strength is coming in. There we go. There's a little bit of weakness coming in. Hmm. Yeah, I mean this is set for CAD weakness, which would be oil weakness. So it's kind of yeah. There you go. Now it's there you go. There's the green. It's funny how the proxies work, right? It's taking a little extra for this is green, but they're coming back up on it. So as it's pulling back up, there you go. There's your red. Here comes the volatility now with 2 minutes to go. Let's see. Could they have released it early? Nope. You're starting to see the volatility. So yeah, That is the weakest hold I think we've ever seen. Again, it was only a 5 minute level that put it in there, but it literally didn't pause at all. So this is one of those ones that's not as much fun to trade when it does it. I thought today it was 500 pip chip draw. No, why would today be 500? Why would today be 500? Minus 500 for the winner? Is that what you said? It was supposed to be a minus 500. I'm totally confused. Ernest, I've only had like a half a cup of coffee. You can't play games with me. Cannot play games. Um, we got 2 minutes to go. This one's driving lower. This one may actually be out before the news is in. I mean, the reality is, let's see. Um, you're at a 1 to 2 right there. I mean, the 1 to 3 is down to here. So, yeah. I mean, this is one of those ones. If you're this deep in the hole already, or not in the hole, but like if you're this deep into the trade already, you may just want to. Oh, here you go. Let's see. We got 1 minute to go. Come on. Just give it to us early. You know you want to. Give it to us a minute early. I can see you can see the volatility spanking this round. Look at this. That may be I'm saying this may be one of those ones where if you took it off early, you were good. Oh, there you go. It just got past. Trades out. 1 to 3 is in. So the number's there. So yep. That was your stabilization was off that 5 minute up top. Look, I don't even have the number yet. Look at that. Gapped right past the close people out. 1 to 3 is in. So oh, there you go. 1.1 surplus. Look at that. Surplus, baby. Surplus. So there you go. There was your 10 5 and 1. Or, I'm sorry, your 35 and 1, right? Your stabilization was on a 5 minute level. So yeah, we didn't have any 30s. We had to drop to a 5. We found a wick over wick on a 5. Found the pullback level. Came in at 1013 this morning on the 1 minute. Your best stabilization was up here at that area, and all it did was it came down and you got about 3/4 of the way. It got passed on the news, and then started to push back up as everybody else was trying to hit short for the day. So yeah, so there you go. That's how to trade the small time frame news. But Mark's the other thing. All right, with that said, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go check on the baby, and again, I hear him crying in the room. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time. Talk to you then.